I'm going to walk through the Traeger Timberline XL the way most people approach a big purchase like this, with a little skepticism, a lot of questions about real-world value, and a need to know whether it will actually fit into the everyday cooking rhythm you've already got. If you're on the fence, this review is meant to cut through the marketing hype and give you a grounded sense of what owning a Timberline XL feels like, from the first fire-up to the day-to-day maintenance. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's acknowledge the size of the decision. A pellet smoker that boasts a 1/320 square-inch cooking surface isn't a kitchen appliance you tuck away in a pantry, it's a permanent fixture on a patio, deck, or backyard kitchen. That means you have to consider space, power availability, and how often you'll actually use the extra real estate. If you have a small balcony or limited storage, the Timberline XL will probably feel more like a commitment than a convenience. Conversely, if you regularly host large gatherings, run a side hustle selling smoked meats, or simply love the idea of having enough room to grill a turkey and a side of veggies at the same time, the sheer footprint can become a genuine advantage. The first thing I noticed when setting it up was the power requirement. The unit runs on a standard 120-volt outlet and pulls 756 watts, so you need a dedicated circuit that can handle the load without tripping your breaker. In practice, that meant running a short extension cord from my garage outlet and making sure the breaker was labeled for a 20-amp circuit. For anyone living in an older home with limited electrical capacity, that's a hidden cost you might not have thought about until the unit tried to start a 500-degree sear on a brisket. Once the power issue was settled, the WiFIRE smart temperature control really started to show its worth. The touchscreen is intuitive enough that you can dial in a target temperature, set a timer, and let the app handle the rest. I used the app to start a low and slow smoke at 225 while I was still at work, and the grill held that temperature within a few degrees the entire night. The insulation does a solid job of protecting against outside temperature swings, which means that even on a windy autumn evening the internal temperature didn't dip below the set point. That level of consistency is what separates a hobbyist smoker from a tool you can rely on for meal prep throughout the week. One of the practical strengths that often gets lost in the spec sheet is the hopper cleanout feature. Traeger designed the hopper so you can tilt it forward, dump out the remaining pellets, and quickly load a new flavor. I tried swapping from hickory to applewood mid-cook for a pork shoulder, and the transition took less than a minute. No mess, no fumbling with a separate container. If you enjoy experimenting with pellet blends or need to switch flavors for different dishes on the same day, that convenience can shave a surprising amount of time off your prep. Now, let's talk about the 6-in-1 claim. In addition to the traditional smoker, bake, roast, and grill modes, the Timberline XL includes an induction burner on the side. I used that burner on a busy Saturday to keep a pot of beans simmering while the main chamber was smoking a slab of ribs. The induction surface heats up instantly and maintains a steady temperature, which is great for side dishes that you don't want to lose heat in the main chamber. However, the burner does add an extra power draw, and you need to be mindful of your overall circuit load, something the manual mentions but many buyers overlook until they try to use both the grill and burner simultaneously. On the downside, the sheer size of the cooking area can be a double-edged sword. While 1/320 skin lets you lay out a full turkey, several racks of ribs, and a sheet pan of vegetables all at once, it also means you have to manage airflow and pellet consumption more carefully. During a test run cooking a whole chicken at 375 I noticed the pellet usage spiked noticeably when the grill was packed to capacity. That translates to a higher ongoing cost for pellets, especially if you're smoking multiple meals a week. If you're only planning to smoke a few small cuts each month, the extra area may never be fully utilized, and you'll be paying for space you don't need. Another practical weakness is the cleaning routine. The insulated walls keep temperature stable, but they also trap ash and grease behind the metal panels. The cleaning process isn't as simple as pulling out a drip tray. You have to disassemble the interior panels to get a thorough clean, which can be a bit intimidating if you're not used to taking apart a grill. I found that a quick brush out after each use kept the worst of the buildup at bay, but a deep clean every few months required more effort than I initially expected. Who should buy the Timberline XL? If you fit any of